Hello and welcome to Dating Over 50. I'm here with Forrest Ward, who's going to share with us what it's like dating over 50 from a male's perspective. Now, I have to put a disclaimer on this. Forrest is married, so any of you ladies that's watching this and saying, wow, I would like to have him, I'm going to tell you right now, he's married. How many years married, Forrest?
26.
26 years?
26.
Oh, and you still date, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We met on July 7th, 1989, and married on September 3rd.
Wow.
And
okay.
the people who introduced us said, y'all need to get to know each other first, back maybe date a year, and they got divorced. And the guy who married us, he said the same thing, and he got divorced. So, you know, anything that could cause a little stress in the marriage, we did it all the first year.
You did all the first year?
Yeah.
Because you were taking time to get to know each other.
So now when
right?
somebody, you know, says that, you know, something comes along that's really tough, we go, that ain't nothing.
So now let me ask you, you said you got married, and now I know a little bit about the story, but you got married in less than a month, right?
Yes.
Okay.
About 6 weeks.
So tell us that story.
Well, okay. I'd been married from 70 until 1979, and a daughter, beautiful daughter. And then I was single from January 12th, 1979 until I married on September 3rd, 1989. Now, in that interim, I was a young fellow in Austin and also in Houston. And I saw a lot of people. That doesn't mean I was a carouser or something like that. It just meant that I knew how to go out with people and have a good time, not expecting anything, you know, rude or anything. I just wanted to have a wonderful relationships. In fact, that's my main message is I want people to lead with the relationships.
To lead with the relationship. So what does that mean?
What that means is you get to know who they are, and you also have the courage to express who you are.
Okay.
And who you are is much more important than all the stuff that you've been able to accumulate. You know, some people consider communication, it's like two televisions facing each other on different channels with the sound turned up. Oftentimes when people start talking, the other person is cocked and primed to say something that they're going to regurgitate and don't even hear what the first person's saying. Because
they already have in their mind what they're going to say. Yeah. I say it's like they're having this conversation in their head, so they really are not listening. And listening is an important factor, right?
And if you're going to see somebody, you have to throw all that away. Also, what you need to throw away is the baggage. People don't care what kind of bad relationships you've ever had.
Why not?
They don't. Because it doesn't move them to enjoy you.
So if I told you about my past relationships, you really don't want to hear that?
Only if they apply to how well you want to do this one.
Okay. So basically, I could tell you what I don't want. Like me and my sister did the first video, and we kind of said, make a list. Take a piece of paper, fold it in half, say what you want, say what you don't want. So you know what you don't want. So would you suggest telling the person what you want?
Yes, it's very important.
Okay.
Because if you know what you want, people who also know what that is will recognize it. For instance, if I have a commitment to be in joy, okay, there really is joy out there. You can create joy inside yourself. And when you start expressing that joy, people who recognize what joy is about will show up.
Really? Now, let me ask you something. Have you read The 5 Love Languages?
No.
You haven't read that?
I've heard about it.
You've heard about it?
Yeah.
It's a really good book. But so we won't even go there. Because one of the things that I want you to tell our listening audience is about how you and your wife first met. I just thought that was so awesome.
Well, in March of 1989, I was done with dating. I was seeing 4 women. And it was, you know, hello, you want to go to a movie? You know, hi, listen, I got tickets to a play. You know, those kinds of things.
Okay.
And I was done. And so I told each one of those 4 people, I said, look, other than being married for 8 years, I've been dating since I was in junior high school. I'm through with it.
Okay.
I'm done. And they said, well, what are you going to do? I said, every one of them said that. I said, well, I'm going to be with a woman I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. And every one of those women said, well, who is that? I said, well, because you asked me that question, it's not you. Because
That was so good.
if you were her, you wouldn't have that question at all.
Wow.
Okay? So in 1984, I'd gotten involved with a group. I was brand new to Houston, and it was a relationship workshop. And it was held by Bill Ferguson and his wife Diane. And Bill, they'd put it together where you spend $35 and you come every week, and even if you dropped out and came back, the $35 still applied. They never charged you again.
So you paid $35 one time?
One time, and you could come as long as you wanted to. You could drop out and come back, and they wouldn't charge you anything else. It was all about creating relationships, and they would do it in their living room, their townhouse.
Okay.
And every time I went, it was full. I mean, people really wanted to know. And so my business had gotten so busy that I quit going in '88, and I was busy working. And I went to the gym in June 5th, 1989, after declaring to these people in March that I was done with dating.
Now, you say these people, are you talking about the four women? Okay.
So it doesn't mean that I threw them out with bathwater or something. It's just they needed to go their way and I needed to go mine.
Okay.
So I went to the gym to work out. I really did used to work out. I used to be so thin, my strap pajamas had one stripe. And
you used to sing country and western too, didn't you?
Who ever stops? I write those songs.
I know.
Anyway, so I went to the gym to work out, and after the workout, I went to the pool, and there was Diane. I hadn't seen her in 18 months. And I said, Diane, Holly, what are you doing? She says, oh, Forrest is terrific. Bill's finished his first book. He's been on Oprah. And all of our classes are full. We have a weekend workshop that's called Return to the Heart. And we're going to be doing 2 tapings this weekend for the Access TV channel. Why don't you come and be a part of the studio audience?
Okay.
And I said, well, sure, okay. So Saturday morning, I drove down there. I was only parking my car. I was just parking my car.
Okay.
And I looked across the street and up the sidewalk was Cindy carrying a big cooler full of soft drinks. And I thought, wow, this isn't going to be a boring day in seminar. And I found out later she saw me parking my car and she went, wow, this will be interesting. Now, how she got involved with Bill was that she had found one more jerk. One more guy that was a jerk.
That was a jerk.
And she said, you know, I've known a lot of women who have great relationships and they have wonderful marriages, and these jerks keep showing up in my life. And I'm done with it.
Okay.
So she started going to Bill's group to learn, you know, maybe she had something to do with it. Anyway, but I had never met her before.
Okay.
So we go inside, and Bill had set it up with 5 rows with a center aisle, and on each side of the center aisle were 7 chairs on each side. Okay. Well, I sat on this aisle on the second row, and Cindy came in and sat in right in front of me.
So she was on the same row you were?
No, she was a row in front of me.
Okay.
So I got to stare. Wow, I get to stare at the back of her head all day. So the room filled up, and Bill got up and says, we have to tweak the camera, and we have to check the lighting and the sound. Turn to somebody, even if you don't even know them, say hello and chat for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
And so all 6 people on my left turned to each other, and all 6 people on her left turned to each other, and she turns around and she says, hello.
Wow. And you just had this big old smile on your face, right?
And so we talked for a couple of minutes, and Bill said, okay, we're done. We're ready to start. Hug your partner. Let's go.
You get to hug her, too?
So the topic that he spoke on first was how to have more love in your life.
Okay.
Now, how to have more love in your life is you have to be committed to who you are.
Okay.
Okay? You really do. You can't depend on your history to drag it around like it's baggage.
So it's more important to know yourself, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very important. If you know who and what you're about, that will be attractive to people. Okay? See, dating is it's a process. It's also an action. But who you are is a state of being.
So you say who you are is a state of being.
Yeah.
So do you think that most people know who they are?
From listening to them often, no.
No. They're still trying to find themselves.
Well, they regurgitate their past. They regurgitate all the old bad relationships they've ever had. Those kinds of things.
But do you think because they're regurgitating those things that that's how they identify who they are?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the point is you don't identify who you are. You be who you are.
Okay. I like that. Because someone has just said to me the other day, just be.
Yeah.
Be. No matter what it is, be.
Yeah, we're human beings. We're not human doings. We're not human havings. We're human beings.
Okay.
So we're being for a purpose. Okay?
Okay.
Anyway, so during this day, we finished that and then we'd take the second show. And at the end of the show, I carried the cooler for Cindy back to her car.
Okay. Oh, wow. Got to carry a cooler?
Innocent enough, right? And so as I was putting the cooler in the car, I said, would you like to eat Mexican food tonight and listen to live music?
So you invited
And
me
she
out.
said, well, sure. She said, but I have a baby shower to go to. And I said, well, I got to help Bill and Diane break down everything, take it back to their townhouse, and I'll be there as quick as I can. So I showed up at her door with my 12-string guitar case. And she looked at it, and she looked at me, and she looked at it, and she looked at me, and she says, okay, where are the burritos? I said, right, I'm the live music. And so I came in and I sat in the middle of the sofa. And I brought my guitar up and she sat in the reclining chair. Now, please understand, we had met at 9 o'clock that morning.
Right.
Okay.
This is your first date?
I show up at 7:30.
On the same day?
Yeah.
Wow.
7:30. All right. Now, my concert at the time with all the introductions to each song was about 3 hours. So she said to me, she says, well, what's that? I said, what's my 12-string guitar? I write my own songs and sing. She says, what do you write songs about? I said, well, my daughter and my family and places in Texas. She said, well, good, I want to hear some of them. So I cranked it out. And I started my concert. And I started going through how I came up with each song and so forth. Well, 5 minutes till 9. 5 minutes till 9. She said to me, she said, wow, those are incredible songs. Because from time to time she'd have tears of joy and all this kind of stuff. And she said, those are really good songs. But I need to tell you how I'm feeling. And I'm just telling you how I feel because if you don't feel like this, that's okay. But I feel like I have to be responsible and tell you. I said, well, okay, what's that? She said, well, if you want to see me, you need to marry me.
Wow. Wow. Did that catch you off guard?
And she said, I don't do sleep around. I don't do girlfriend. I don't do long distance. I'm already packed up and ready to go to Washington, D.C. My boss is already up there. But if you want to see me, you need to marry me. Remember what I said in March? So brilliantly, I said, well, you know, we've known each other 12 hours. And I really want to have the rest of this conversation. Can we complete it next Friday? I want you to.
She just told you you had to marry her.
I want you to learn to spell my last name, and I want you to meet my daughter, and I want to know something about your family. She said, "Oh, sure, no pressure."
No pressure.
So the next day we called Bill and Diane. And we said, Will, we have something to tell you. We're getting married. And Diane was so, wow, that's incredible. That's the most wonderful thing in the whole world. And Bill went straight in his head. You need to get to know each other first and create a relationship and maybe see each other about a year. And it was so heavy, the message was so heavy, that Diane finally said, Bill, don't you get it? Your courses work. So we invited them to stand up at our wedding because they introduced us. Well, my daughter was 15 at the time.
Okay.
And I would take her to the library during a weeknight and work on schoolwork.
Okay.
Now, please understand, everybody that I dated while I was single, I made it clear to them, you need to meet Jennifer. And If it's not okay with Jennifer, it's not okay.
So she had to get Jennifer's approval.
Well, no, Jennifer had to say it was okay because I wanted Jennifer to be taken care of too.
Okay, which is understandable.
Well, Jennifer was there first,
right? Jennifer was there long before she came along.
But I was not going to compromise my child just because I was seeing somebody.
Right.
So Jennifer always had met the people that I was seeing, and I hadn't been engaged, and I hadn't, been living with people and all that. Anyway, so we went to the library and we finished the schoolwork. We're walking across the parking lot. Because Cindy had said, I want to fix supper for y'all on Wednesday night. I said, okay. So I'm walking across the parking lot with Jennifer, and I turned to her and I said, Jennifer, I met this woman named Cindy, and she wants to meet you on Wednesday night. We want to have supper. So when we get to your house, we'll tell your mom so I can come pick you up. And I don't know how you women do this. I really don't. Because 15 years old, she, in mid-step, turns to me and she says, okay, Dad. When's the wedding?
Wow. So she knew marriage was in the air.
And I'm just floored. So Jennifer came, I picked her up and we brought her on Wednesday night, and we're having this wonderful meal. My Cindy can cook. She'd been in the restaurant business 13 years.
Okay.
So this was a feast. Okay.
Wow.
So we're just amazed. And we're sitting there, and Cindy's just making conversation. And she says, so Jennifer, where were you born? And Jennifer says, well, I was born in Austin. Where were you born? And Cindy said, well, I was born in Austin. And Cindy said, well, what hospital were you born in Austin? And Jennifer said, well, I was born at St. David's Hospital. Where were you born? And Cindy said, well, I was born at St. David's Hospital.
Wow. Great connection.
That's amazing. That's just amazing. And, but anyway, the point is that Cindy made it real clear that, what you and I have in common is we love your dad. And I'm not here to take anybody's place. Maybe we'll become friends, but I just want you to understand that I can't wait to get to know you, and I hope you get to know me too. Okay. So I invited her to come back on Friday night when we're going to have supper with Bill and Diane, and we're going to announce about our wedding plans.
Okay.
And so we all five showed up on Friday night, had another great meal, and we made the plans. Well, Cindy's boss was already in Washington, D.C., working for the federal government, and wouldn't take the job unless Cindy came and helped him. And she'd been a legal secretary with him for 14 years at the time.
Okay.
So the mandate he was under, he needed somebody he didn't have to train.
Okay.
And so we called her boss. And Cindy says, Steve, I'm going to be a little late. Steve said, well, how come? And Cindy said, well, I'm getting married. And Steve said, well, I didn't know you seen anybody. He says, well, I wasn't. I just met him yesterday.
Oh my God!
So, Friday night we had this supper with Bill Diane, and what we came to was, because we needed to be in Washington D.C., we need all the wards were going to be at the family reunion on Labor Day weekend, and all of her family could come from Fort Worth in one car. So that's what we did. We had the wedding at my family reunion.
So what would you tell our listening audience right now about dating? Because I know you mentioned the fact that you and Cindy still date. Yeah,
we still go out, and we still have a wide range of interests. Music events, plays, movies. What we like to do is go out together, and then we'll either go with another couple or meet another couple after the movie, and we'll discuss it. And we talk together about those kind of things. We take trips together. Okay, we take weekend trips. We've done all sorts of things. What's important to me is her interests are vital to me.
Okay.
And my interests are vital to her. So it's not about doing the same old.
So there's you don't get bored in the relationship.
We don't do some formula. What we do is we get together. What would you like most to do?
Okay.
And we figure out what that is. And we also include the fact that we have a wide range of friends, who do we want to see this week that we haven't seen in a long time?
So you share the friendship.
Yeah.
So she knows your friends, you know her friends.
Oh, yeah. There's no mystery at all.
Okay.
And we make certain that we stay in touch with people. For instance, we have a couple that are friends that we met through networking groups, and they live in Willow Park over by Weatherford.
Okay.
And they're also in the cast of the Azel Arts Popcorn Players.
Azel Art Popcorn Players. So I'm not going to ask what that is.
Azel Arts.
Okay.
And what they do is produce melodramas.
Okay.
And so when you get your ticket, it seats about 100 people. When you get your ticket, they give you a bag of popcorn. And so when the villain comes out, you throw the popcorn. And when the hero comes out, you yay, 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 and all that kind of stuff. It's artist participation.
Okay.
And they're always so much fun.
Okay.
Everybody has a great time.
So both of you enjoy that.
Absolutely.
So what would you tell our listening audience now? They're looking to hear. There are some of them that are watching are 50, some of them are 60, some of them are 70, but they're single and they're looking to date again. What would you tell them? I'm not going to even ask the question. I'm going to ask you. What would you tell our listening audience right now?
Be courageous enough to express who you are still. Dating is not about when you were a juvenile.
Okay.
Dating is not about what you did in high school or junior high school.
Okay.
Dating is about being with somebody to the degree that you find out something new and interesting about them.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say there you have it. For today, Forrest Ward shared his story about his wife, how he met his wife, the dating process, and how the dating thing still goes on. I know next week Forrest is going to be back with us again, right, Forrest?
I'll be in North Carolina next Monday, but I'll come back
the following week, and then you're going to share more about dating over 50 with us.
I can do that.
I know you can do that. You can go on and on forever. And so we're going to have a couple of episodes with Forrest Ward. Am I saying that right? Because he always get on me about his name that I'm not saying it right. But I'm a Foster. I got it like that. And he's
we should go on the road. Foster and Forrest.
But I'm going to tell you, thank you for listening. This is Adele Foster, and I have Forrest Ward. What's some parting words you'd like to give our listening audience?
Please, what you do this week, be outrageous. Be outrageously happy. Be outrageously healthy. Attract those people in your life that you want to spend the rest of your life with.
There you have it. Forrest Ward telling you what you need to do. Dating over 50 doesn't take forever. Come on. You've been through life. You're experiencing life. You have experienced life. So now, go out there and find that mate. And you only have to date a little bit like Forrest. And then make it happen. Get married and be wonderfully happy.